Hey guys, my name is Ryan and welcome to Overwatch Central. So hopefully you all had a pretty good Christmas. I've had an excellent one. It's been good to be back at home. I'm actually recording this from my old room that I used to live in before I moved down to Bristol. So back in the room where it all started for me at least. But today I want to talk about 2018 before we really get into the new year. I want to go over the content plan and what exactly has come out when in the past and when we are most likely to see new maps, new heroes and also new events and stuff within the year of 2018. And just so people know when to expect certain things and when there's nice open opportunities for new content to come in. The main thing that people are going to say is that it's bound to change in 2018, and to an extent I would agree. We're getting into the second year of Overwatch's lifespan, and if they want to make sure that people keep playing the game, then they can't go into 2018 exactly the same as 2017. How they change it up, I'm not entirely sure, but as I said, there are a couple of wide open opportunities where no content has gone out that Blizzard might go, let's put something in there. It's fairly easy to look at the pattern that Blizzard have had over the last 2 years since Overwatch has been live to know when certain heroes are coming out, when the events start, and when certain maps are likely to be released. You don't need to look at horoscopes or speak to Mystic Meg to know that the heroes especially are coming out 3 per year, so usually once per 4 months. And it really does look likely, especially for the new heroes, for that to change. A lot of players have always wanted more heroes added into the game. 3 a year does seem quite small, and I do remember Showfor saying that he would add a hero in once every month, which seems excessive, but the general consensus is that more players want more heroes added into a game per year. And I think that that's seeming more likely at this point as well. Overwatch has almost been out 2 years now, and to keep people interested and incentivized in playing a game, I think they do need to bring out more content that's going to grab people's attention, and I think the best thing to do that is heroes. Regardless, I don't think we're going to be seeing less than 3 heroes per year, so we have a good idea of what's coming out when. Hero 27 is a hero that we've already spoken about. It's been hinted at in the past apparently, so we've gone over who it may be, but we do know one thing: the Hero 27 is most likely going to come out early March. It's around the time that Eraser came out last year, and it does fit into the once every 4 months bill if Moira was added into the game around November for BlizzCon. It usually ends up on the PTR very early in that month and then released later on, a couple of weeks later. And then we're looking to July for Hero 28, around the time that Doomfist was added last year as well, early PTR at the start of the month and then released later on. And this does fit the bill for November-December for Hero 29. Much like Moira, they will be revealed and announced at BlizzCon, added onto the PTR a week later, and then a couple of weeks after that they'll be added onto live. Who these heroes will be and what roles they will have, who knows at this point, and who knows whether there'll be more heroes added into the game, but we know sure as hell that it's not going to be any less than 3 heroes unless Blizzard want an epidemic on their hands. So on screen you are seeing when these new heroes were added last year and when they're most likely going to be added in 2018 as well. Let's go over the maps which aren't as cut and dried. It has been following the same method of 3 maps per year, much like the heroes, but it hasn't been every 4 months. Let me explain. So Oasis was added around this time onto live servers this time last year. It was added onto live servers on the 3rd of January 2017, and most likely that's how Blizzard World will end up as well. It's currently on the PTR at the moment, so it will be on live servers pretty much the first Tuesday in January. At least that's what we can expect. However, looking back to Oasis and the difference between Oasis and Horizon, it's been a good 6 months since Oasis was added onto the PTR, then Horizon added onto the PTR. Horizon was added on very late May, like the 31st I think it was, so that's 6 months between the 2 maps being added onto the PTR. So to map every 6 months, right? Well, no, not really. It was only 3 months between Horizon and Junkertown, and then only 2 months between Junkertown and Blizzard World, because Blizzard World was of course announced at BlizzCon. So this will most likely be changed up in 2018, but this is how it would look. Map 17, which we know would be Blizzard World, would be added early January, but if it follows 2017's schedule of maps, we will see Map 18 in June, Map 19 in September, and Map 20 on the PTR in December, and then added early 2019. God, that feels weird to say. 2019 is almost next year, Jesus. So as you're seeing on screen, there is a big gap between Map 17, which is Blizzard World, and Map 18, which will come in June. So that could mean another thing. Map 18 could actually come around the time of March and April. There's a nice opportunity for that map to fit in there around the time of Uprising and the anniversary event, which we'll go over in a second. Or maybe they'll just better schedule maps to make sure that they're once every 4 months. But I think this is a good opportunity to maybe see 4 maps a year, 1 every 3 months, as it seems to line up nicely with stuff like Gamescom and BlizzCon. Junkertown, which was map 16, was shown up at Gamescom after all, and then released early September, so that could also follow suit for 2018 as well. But the point I'm trying to make is that there is a big gap in content for maps especially that hasn't been filled, that Blizzard may go, let's add another map into that schedule as well, if they want to put out more content. The thing to note here about 2017 is maps were added into that game around that time, but they weren't in the competitive cycle, as these were the deathmatch game mode Chateau Gillard, but also these arena maps that we saw added into the anniversary event, Black Forest, that kind of thing as well. Castillo, all that jazz. Well, let's go over the events now. We know that Year of the Dog is going to happen this year, and it'll come around the time of late January, around the 23rd or so. Then in April, we will have Uprising 2, around April the 10th. Anniversary, the second anniversary, May the 22nd, when the game was launched. The Summer Games 3, whether they do a third one or not, will be mid-August. Halloween Terror will be early October. And then obviously the Christmas event will be this time next year. No doubt when I'm sat down again talking about what content to expect in 2019. But again, it's not as balanced, I suppose, as the new heroes added into the game. There's a big gap between Year of the Dog and Uprising, for example, but other than that, we do see an event every 6 weeks or so. But it is going to be interesting to see how they handle the second Uprising, the second anniversary event, how they're going to approach that. But also Summer Games 3, Halloween Terror 3, and the Christmas event as well. As I don't know about you, I think the Summer Games is starting to get a little bit stale, and I'd like to see something different put in place of the Summer Games. But that's just my opinion. But again, you've seen it on screen, a big graphic showing off where the events will lay, if it's going to follow 2017 in any fashion, which, if I was a betting man, I would put good money on. How these events are going to be different for Uprising and Anniversary, I'm not too sure. Jeff Kaplan's spoken about that a little bit briefly. But regardless, this is how 2018 will look if the content plan is going to follow anything like 2017. Blizzard aren't really a big fan of changes, so this will be a likely bet, I suppose. So yeah, Hero 27 in early March, Hero 28 in early July, and Hero 29 will be announced at BlizzCon 2018. With that, we'll have 3 maps at least, maybe 4. There is a big gap in the market for a new map in one of the first quarters of this year. And the events will most likely be changed up, maybe some new faces, maybe some changes here and there. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, really helps out the channel. And until next time, take care, we'll see you then.